Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, December 5th, 2015. This is episode 1243. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Texture, the mobile app that lets you access the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere, using your phone or tablet. For your free 30-day trial, visit texture.com/techguy. And by Gazelle, the online marketplace for buying and selling used gadgets. Shop from a variety of certified pre-owned electronics or trade one in for cash. Give new life to a used device. Visit gazelle.com today. And by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of SuperTank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit epson.com/ecotank to find out more. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers and the internet and home theater. In fact, we'll be doing that with Scott Wilkinson in about half an hour, our home theater guru. We also talk about smartphones, smartwatches, digital photography, anything with a chip in it. This modern age of digital. And the phone number, if you want to participate in the conversation, is 8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Love to hear from you if you have a question or even a comment, a suggestion. 8888-ASK-LEO. Interesting court decision this week from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. Breaking your employer's computer policy is not a crime. Oh, it could get you fired, I guess. And it's important. We've talked before about how few rights you have in the workplace when it comes to digital technology. Your employer, if you pick up the telephone and have a conversation with your husband on the telephone, and the employer picks up to listen in, as soon as they hear that it's personal, they're required by law to hang up. They cannot eavesdrop on personal conversations. They got to hang up. But that's not the case for electronic communications. They can read your email. They can watch what you're doing. Many employers do, maybe even without your knowledge. I always encourage employers to have a written, explicit technology, policy that you can use as an employee to know what you're doing there. But if you're, Cyber Monday where you're shopping online, your employer probably can see that. Oftentimes they can even see what you think is encrypted. They can see right through that. So it's kind of interesting to hear a court decision that says, but, they can have a policy, but they can't send you to jail for it. In particular, it was in this case, it was a kind of a horrific case, got a lot of attention in the press. The Cannibal Cop. Ooh, even the name doesn't, that sounds like a New York Post headline. It was a New York City police officer who wrote fantasy fiction apparently during work hours and posted it on sites about cannibalism. He never acted on it, but they arrested him. He also did commit a crime. He used the police database to look up information about people without a valid law enforcement purpose. That's actually, maybe that's not illegal. It's certainly a violation of policy. The jury convicted him for conspiracy to kidnap for these. The trial court reversed the jury's conspiracy verdict, saying that the year-long kidnapping conspiracy alleged by the government is one in which no one was ever kidnapped, no kidnap attempt ever took place, no real-world, non-internet-based steps were ever taken to kidnap somebody. In other words, he was just fantasizing. So in fact, the court said if you arrested and put him in jail for that, then you're basically punishing thought crime. We don't do that yet. But the higher court said, you can't, they said, we decline to adopt the prosecution's construction, which would criminalize the conduct of millions of ordinary computer users. The government might promise that it would not prosecute an individual for checking Facebook at work. We are not at liberty to take prosecutors at their word in such manners. A court should not uphold a highly problematic interpretation of a statute merely because the government says, oh, we will only use this responsibly. I like that. That's exactly right, isn't it? So, however you feel about the cannibal cop, and it's reprehensible, it is good news that the courts now say breaking your employer's computer policy. Your employer, in fact, if you have read it, may well say you're not allowed to use Facebook on company time. But that can't be a crime. You could get fired for it. You could get dinged at work for it. But it can't be a crime. Okay. I think that's probably a good thing. What else could we talk about? Had you get any Cyber Monday deals? We talked a little bit about Black Friday last week. Cyber Monday, which is the Monday following Thanksgiving, last Monday, I think is a made-up holiday. That's a made-up holiday. But stores take advantage of it by putting up additional online deals. This was the first year in history that more people bought stuff online during Black Friday than bought stuff in stores on Black Friday. Probably because people are scared of going into the store on Black Friday. But I think the Cyber Monday construction, the idea of Cyber Monday was, oh, you're not going to buy anything online on Friday because you're going to wait till you go to work and use the company's fast internet to do your shopping. Well, good news, it's legal. Bad news is you probably have better internet at work, don't you, nowadays? I mean, at home, I should say, nowadays. The computer at work is probably slow compared to the one you have at home. So I don't know if people wait till Monday to do their shopping. Black Friday online sales, $4.5 billion. And while slightly more sales online than offline, what was really interesting is more than a third of all the online purchases were done on phones, on mobile. Which doesn't, I mean, on the face of it, seems like, wow, you did your Christmas shopping on your phone? It's amazing. But I think a lot of people do. A third. That means $1.5 billion on one day on smartphones. We've come a long way, baby. How did you do your holiday shopping? And did you buy something that you want some help with? Or maybe you're looking to shop for a geek. One of the things I specialize in is geek shopping. Not for my geeks, but to help you shop for your geeks. Because I got to tell you, if you're in the market for a present for somebody who's like really into technology, you got to be careful because they know what they want. They're very precise about this. You get them a Windows machine and they want a Mac, you're going to get sad faces. So if they want an iPad and I see this happen a lot. Parents say, well, the iPad's so expensive. I'll get you a Kindle, the Kindle Fire. That's just as good, right? And the kid goes, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom. Oh, boy. Can't wait to play with this. You don't want that. So maybe we can help you buy the right gift for a geek. Not buy a geek, buy a great gift for a geek. When I say geek shopping, you're not actually shopping for geeks. You're shopping for geeks. Does that make any sense? But we survived. We survived the holidays. We survived Cyber Monday. Getting into the holiday spirit now, right? Hanukkah. Got to buy 12 gifts. Christmas coming up. Tuba Christmas is coming up. Scott Wilkinson will tell us about that. That's a week from now, the 40th annual Tuba Christmas LA. No. Heather Hammond says, bad idea. 88. I bet you Scott can do the Deliverance theme on a tuba. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. You'll be calling Heather Hammond, the phone ranger. She'll get you all tuned up for your appearance on national radio. Get you on the air here. As I said, questions, suggestions, answers. Anything that's on your mind, I'd love to talk about it. New Moto 360 watch. Moto 360 watch is an awesome watch. It's nice. It's round. It's Android Wear watch. And they couldn't quite get the sport version out by Christmas time. I'm a little disappointed. They say maybe later in December or early January. Oh, January 7th in the U.S. No, this is the smartwatch with the GPS built in. Kind of a nice, rubber band, very high resolution display. No, it's gotta kill a tech company when they can't get it out in time for the holidays. 8888 Ask Leo. Let's talk high tech. Website techguylabs.com. I'm Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, don't buy the Kobe Android tablet for $60. I'm agreeing. Is it an ad age, Mike B? Somebody was saying it's an ad age. I did the backstory behind the Microsoft Apple ad. It's a good ad. The Christmas Truce of 2015. Microsoft had to get permission from Apple to perform the song on the store's plaza. Apple, she said, knew Microsoft would be filming something. They just weren't sure what. In the spot, Microsoft employees begin singing while Apple employees spill out of the store to watch. Employees from the two rival companies hug, a move the Microsoft advertising person said was a moment of setting differences aside and coming together. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. 888-827-5536. Very nice holiday. Did you see the holiday ads yet from Apple and Microsoft? Really kind of fun. I loved Apple's. I've seen it a couple of times now. Stevie Wonder and Andra Day. There's very little Apple in it. Starts off, it's in Stevie's house. He's composing a song. He's using voiceover, the talking voice for blind people to use a Mac with. Oh. And it says piano, track 1, and then he's playing. That's it. There's a little Apple laptop. A little later on, somebody's wearing an Apple Watch. That's about it. And then they make a beautiful song and they sing it together. And it just, most of the ad is this Christmas carol with Stevie Wonder and Andra Day singing. Beautiful. And then at the end it says love, comma, and the Apple logo. And that's it. Very soft sell. Then Microsoft does their Christmas ad, which I love. It starts in a Microsoft store. The Microsoft opened a new store this month or last month in New York City, a kind of catty corner from the Apple store on Fifth Avenue. So all the employees in the Microsoft store kind of get together in the store, and they stream out of the store and cross the street, and they go over to the Apple store and they start singing them Christmas carols, and the Apple employees all come out.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they hug each other. It's called.
Well, if those two get along, I think we got world peace on our hands this year.
It's called the Christmas Truce of 2015. I know.
We are the world.
Yeah, it's kind of a beautiful thing. You could see it online. There's the 30-second ad which ran. I saw, and then there's a 2-minute ad. They all go down the street to the Apple store.
And look, no
sounds like they're bringing an orchestra with them.
Oh, they are.
I don't know. I don't see the orchestra, but it's tuning up, and there they are. Oh yeah, there is. There's a cello. I saw a cello, and now they're all in their Microsoft mufti, which is multicolored, and they start singing. Isn't that cute? I mean, after years of Apple ads dinging Windows, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC.
Right.
Somebody said the employees can leave the Microsoft store because there's never anybody shopping there. That's me. No, not in the spirit. Then the Apple employees in their little red shirts come out. It's kind of sweet.
It's a novel idea.
Well, it's putting me in a festive holiday spirit. Are you in a festive holiday spirit, Heather Hellman? Are you ready for never? You're a Grinch. You're Scrooge.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I like this time of year. Put up the lights. Put up the Christmas tree. Getting excited. Nothing, huh? Nothing.
Not yet, anyway.
Zilch.
I guess I need to hear 200 tubas doing jingle bells.
That would do it.
That's what Scott says will get me in the spirit.
200 tubas. We'll ask Scott about that in a little bit. You have been lining up calls, I see. Mm-hmm. You're not grumpy to them, Miss
no.
Grinch.
I love all the callers.
Yeah.
They cheer me up.
You know what, Heather? It's Christmas every day with you. Right? Every day
night
is
New Year's Eve.
Who should I start with?
Okay, so Dave,
Yes.
like me, prefers
Yes.
to shop for himself, but he needs to. He needs your help to make up his mind.
Geeks need to. I understand because geeks know what they want, and they don't want somebody to buy the wrong thing for them. Hi, Dave. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
This is my dilemma. I have a 6-year-old Dell laptop, which I've had for 6 years, and it's fallen apart, and I need either a new. I also have a landline with an answering phone to it that I pay $25 a month for with Verizon. So they take care of my internet service and my landline, so I get a pretty good deal there.
Yeah.
The problem now, but I need something new. It's either a new laptop, an iPad, or the cell phones. I forget what you call them. There's a new name for them.
Smartphones.
Smartphone. Now, the deal is I don't store movies. I don't watch movies on it. I don't receive phone calls other than business calls. I don't need it for immediate action. In other words, I don't need to carry it around with me. I only store some photos. That's it. But sometimes I travel overseas, and I've been taking my laptop with me, which is 7 pounds, and it's a hassle.
Yikes. Yeah, you want
Carry
something
around
lighter.
with me.
Yeah.
So ideally, I'd like to get something that I can keep it for $25 a month. But if I'm looking around, it doesn't look like I can. And I don't know. What do you think? What I'm telling you?
Yeah, it's not going to. Your internet service isn't going to be affected by whatever you get.
Well, I wouldn't want the internet service if I'm getting it. I wouldn't want to duplicate it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're looking at a tablet or a device that would have its own internet access.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that's one possibility, and then you could turn off internet access at home. But you would, and I guess you'd have to keep your phone line because you want to still get phone calls. Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't. The only reason so iPads and Chromebooks and other devices, not usually desktop computers or laptop computers, can often have built-in internet access through LTE. It could be through Verizon or any of the other carriers. The only reason you'd get that is if you'd want to have internet access when you're not home and not at work, not anywhere where there's Wi-Fi. So, sometimes my wife likes to drive down, well, she's not driving, I'm driving, but when we're driving down the road, she gets on her iPad and she wants internet access. That's cases like that.
I can see myself doing that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, internet
cafe. I know where a hotel is when I'm in Paris or something.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays most hotels have Wi-Fi, but it's expensive, but they have it, coffee shops. I find there's not a lot of places I don't have internet access, but if you want that, then you're going to look for a device that has LTE connectivity. You can there are Windows devices. In fact, Microsoft makes one called the Surface Pro you might want to look at that has LTE built in, and so that's connectivity everywhere. It's probably still cheaper to use your internet at home since you're already paying for the phone line, but you could disconnect it.
Well, that's why I'm willing to cancel my service with Verizon. I'm getting a special rate because I'm what they call, kind of low income.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'd get the Lifeline phone service, which would be a lot cheaper without internet, right?
No, I'm getting internet now with the Lifeline.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if you eliminate the internet, you're going to presumably save money. Sometimes these companies, they're really crafty. It ends up being not much more money to get internet service.
Yeah, I've looked into that. Even if I got rid of the landline service and had the internet, it would be about the same.
Yeah, they're not dumb, but you want to keep your landline. I would say for safety reasons, you want to keep that. I mean, people do make phone calls over the internet, and it works fine. But 911 is a little bit messed up by that because unlike a landline, it doesn't know exactly where you are at all times. So I'd keep that landline, especially since you're getting Lifeline service. It's not very expensive. If you wanted to disconnect internet, I would look at a Surface tablet. iPad would do this as well. Surface is full Windows. If you felt like I still want Windows, then I'd look at the Surface. There are other companies that make these LTE-enabled tablets. If you don't need all that complexity, and I think a lot of people don't, an iPad's a great idea. If you want a good keyboard, I'd look at a Google Chromebook. A lot of companies make those very affordable. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. If you have a tablet, iPad or the like, you got to know about Texture, our sponsor today. Texture is kind of like Netflix for magazines. You pay one low flat rate once a month, and you get access to all the best magazines. I mean, everything. If you're the kind of person before you get on a plane that stocks up at the airport bookstore on magazines, you're going to love this. Truthfully, I love magazines, but I don't want the clutter. I don't want the expense. And usually there's one article or two articles I want to read in Rolling Stone or Vanity Fair. And I just can't do it because I don't want to have all those magazines. I feel guilty. And then there's, of course, People and Us. I like to read into those too. Look at the magazines you can get. And you can try this for free. Automotive magazines like Motor Trend, Car and Driver, business and finance like Forbes and Money and Fortune and Inc. and Fast Company. In the crafts and hobby department, there's Wood and Shutterbook, Popular Photography. I love that. But I'm probably not going to buy it, but I can always have it. Download it, use it on the plane. Texture. You may remember this company from, and of course, Entertainment Weekly, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, People, Rolling Stone, Us, food magazines, some of the best. This was called Next Issue, and they've rebranded. So it's if you have a Next Issue subscription, you know about Texture. If you don't, you ought to know. Holidays are here. What a great gift this would be. Your loved one gets unrestricted access to the world's best magazines, from back issues to the one on newsstands right now. But just about every interest. It's the one present they're going to say, I thank you again and again. We had a grandparent used to always send us National Geographic for the same price. He could have sent us the Texture, and we would have gotten National Geographic plus dozens of other magazines as well. You can try it free right now. Texture.com/techguy, 30-day free trial. And don't forget to order it as a fantastic gift for you. Or you know what? You can give yourself a gift. GQ, Maxim, Men's Journal, Men's Health, all the sports stuff, Sports Illustrated and Bike and Golf and Outside and Surfer. I just love it. Lots of travel, too. Lots of travel magazines. Condé Nast Traveler, National Geographic Traveler, Country Living, Backpacker, Sunset. Love this. Texture.com/techguy. Try it free for 30 days today. Yeah, Jersey Fudge, I kind of went back to the iPhone and the Apple Watch only because of the battery life on the iPhone is so much better. I still am bugged by the grid icon interface on the iPhone. I feel like that's not a very... you see all my stuff is hidden in folders. So the front page, as I suppose is true of everybody, is the stuff that I use all the time. And then I've got all these deep folders. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was referring to dial-up. Keep the landline, eliminate the internet access, and get an LTE device. I go back and forth. I really like the Android user interface, but the battery life on this is so good. We went to Vegas for the night last night, and on Thursday, and there's no other phone I have that I could pick it up in the morning and then and still have 40% left in the evening. I wish I could on it. I would use Android if I could, but I can't. So I have too many apps. Yeah, I use a lot of these apps. In Vegas, for instance, they have now a cab app to compete with Uber called Way to Go. So I installed that. Let me see how many apps I have. I have 214 apps. Okay, that is a lot. I think the average is under 100. But some of these are like, I have 80 messaging apps because I'm, keeping a track on what's going on with messaging. So I've got Slack and HipChat. We use those. Couple I use with Lisa. Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Threema, WeChat, and Signal. That's crazy. I don't use all of those. Oh, and then there's Telegram on the front page because I do use that more than others. And Hangouts. And Messages. That's 3 more. A lot of messaging. This is the Apple unused folder. Compass, stocks, contacts. There's a lot of camera apps. So I have all these photo apps, and then I have a whole bunch of retouching apps. This is a nice one I just found, Live GIF, that will take a live photo and turn it into an animated GIF, which you can then post anywhere. And so you could either share the photo or share the GIF, or GIF, however you like it. This is out the plain window. Yeah, it's kind of the jellyish. You can register your cell to an address, but if you're on the road, I would always keep a landline. I think everybody should have a landline. It works when power's out. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. All right, Scott's ready. Here we go. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I will talk a little bit about landlines, why you want to have one, why you shouldn't give up your landline, and why internet access via LTE might be better, certainly better than dial-up, which I think our last caller was stuck with. But first, it's time to talk home theater. Home theater. With Scott Wilkinson of the Tuba Christmas. Hello, Tuba.
It's this time of year, I must say. Merry Tuba Christmas to everyone.
It's the most tuba time of the year.
And happy Tuba Hanukkah.
Tuba Hanukkah, sure. Yeah.
There is a Tuba Hanukkah.
12 times
we celebrate
better.
both.
So
actually, it's only 8 times.
8 times. Sorry, not 12. What am I? I wanted more presents.
12 days of Christmas.
Right. 8 days.
8 days of Hanukkah.
Thank you for correcting me. So how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am well. I imagine a lot of people looking at home theater apparati for the holidays.
Oh, yeah. We've been posting a bunch of holiday buyer's guides on AVS in different categories, like speakers, subwoofers, sound bars, that kind of thing.
Nice. All right.
I'm just about to put up one. I did one on flat panel TVs, and I'm just about to put up one on projectors.
You know what I just bought, and I probably was. It certainly was overpriced, but I liked the connectivity. JBL makes something called the Authentics line, which are they're retro because they remind me of my early days in radio. We used to use radio stations used to use JBL Century speakers, the L100 speakers.
Oh, sure.
They had that puffy kind of grill, and the sound was so wonderful, and I just vividly remember them. JBL, which is now owned by Harman,
have been for a very long time.
Yeah, kind of decided to bring that look back, and they make it's not exactly a Bluetooth speaker because first of all, it's 2 feet wide. It's huge. Weighs about 20
like
pounds.
Soundbar.
Yeah, it's like but it's tall, so it's like a tall soundbar too, and it's expensive. I got it on sale at for $800, but it's normally $1,000. But here's why I wanted it. It's not just Bluetooth. It does AirPlay, so I could play to it from any Apple device, any sound coming out of that Apple device.
Mm-hmm.
It's DLNA, so I could play from any Windows device, any sound coming out of that Windows device.
Yep.
It has optical in. It has analog in. Basically, it handles everything. It even has a phono jack and a ground for a phono player.
Wow. That's the second one I've heard of. The Riva Turbo X has a phono input as well.
So it's very expensive, and it's very big. And my wife's not crazy about how it looks in our bedroom. But the sound is very nice. It's that JBL sound, which I really like.
JBL makes great speakers, man.
Yeah. And it's, it's 50 watts a channel for a total of 300 watts. It's got a nice bass. But the main reason is we can play to it from anything. Bluetooth, AirPlay, DLNA. I mean, it's the most flexible speakers I've ever seen. It's kind of like...
Boy,
yeah.
That sounds great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't heard of that one before, but that's really good.
Come over to the house. You can say it.
Sure.
They say you could use it as a TV soundbar, but I'm not sure I'd recommend that. But I mean, it sounds good.
It's 2-channel, right?
Yeah. And, it's only 2 feet wide, so stereo, you give up stereo separation a little bit because your left and right are pretty close to each other. You can tell it's stereo when you're sitting in front of it. It sounds good.
They might have done some sort of trickery where they expand the stereo field.
Yeah.
My last podcast was with the guys from a company called Riva Audio, where they do just that.
Right.
They take a 2-channel input to a little Bluetooth speaker, a little portable speaker, and they have 3 drivers and 4 passive drivers, and they mix them and DSP them in such a way that you actually do get an expanded sound field that I've heard, and it's pretty impressive.
It sounds pretty good. I'm very happy with it. It's extremely pricey, but
good bass, you said?
yeah, really nice bass. Little,
Boy.
it sounds good. I'm very pleased with it. And I love it that I can plug in my Pono player and my Chromecast audio and use. I mean, everything plays through it.
Yeah.
Everything plays through it. So it has something called Harman Clarify in it, which is probably gimmicky. It's supposed to repair the sound from
of MP3s or whatever. Yeah. A lot of people claim that. I don't know that one in particular, but generally it's pretty gimmicky. Have you listened to it on and off just to hear what the difference is?
No, I just leave it. I don't want to know.
So
I don't want to know.
I would. That's the first thing I would do.
Yeah. See if it makes
how
any
does this
difference.
sound? Yes, no, on, off.
It's probably like the loudness button. I like to keep that in too.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. We're dating ourselves here.
Yeah.
About the loudness.
Don't they do
button.
loudness anymore? No. All right.
Really.
What else is on your mind these days for home theater?
I heard that you had a question last week, and of course I was out for Thanksgiving back in Boston. But
thank you for bringing this up, because I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Fellow wanted to know about 4K projectors and if there were any relatively inexpensive ones. I mean, of course, he sees the Runco and the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, as a matter of fact, there are. And this is an interesting question. I mean, certainly you can spend 6 figures easily on a digital cinema projector, but, that's not practical. Sony is the only company so far that makes true 4K projectors.
Okay.
And they make quite a range of them. The top of the line, which I'm recommending as a quote-unquote cost no object projector in my holiday guide, is $28,000. They go down. I think the lowest one is maybe just under 10.
Yeah.
So it ain't cheap. There's no question about that.
I was initially confused because a lot of people, including our sponsor Epson, have upscaling 4K projectors, and I thought, but then I said to the guy, and I think I was right in this, look at the native resolution of the projector. That'll tell you.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
Epson has one projector that does this, what we sometimes jokingly call faux K, F-A-U-X, where they have a 1080p imager and they jiggle the pixels back and forth about half a pixel to diagonally, back and forth really quick to simulate 4K. The Epson LS10000 does that. That's their laser illuminated projector. List price $8,000. And all of JVC's projectors do this with what they call E-Shift. And those start at about $4,000.
How does it work? Does it look good? I mean, how well does it work?
It looks pretty good. I was quite impressed with it. You can go right up to the screen and examine carefully, which as a geek I often do, and you can't really see where the pixels are. And, I wouldn't say that it's really that much sharper than 1080p, especially from a normal seating distance. But it does allow the projectors to accept a 4K signal, which 1080p projectors, straight 1080p projectors can't do.
All right.
So they do have that advantage that you can accept a 4K signal from Netflix or Amazon or any of these, MGO, any of these companies that now stream 4K. Ultraflix is another one, and display it.
Will 4K projectors come down? Because $10,000 was outside of his price range.
Yeah. Certainly they will, but projectors are behind TVs in this regard. You can get 4K TVs in the hundreds of dollars now easily.
Right.
But projectors are somehow, for some reason I don't quite understand yet, far behind. Sony is the only company that makes them. We were hoping to see some at CEDIA last October, and we didn't.
Well, there you have it. I told him, in that price range, I think it was under $5,000. Get a good 1080p projector. You'll be very, very happy. And then but save money for the screen because you want to have a screen too.
Very good.
Scott Wilkinson. He is the editor-in-chief at the tell me where it is.
AVSforum.com.
AVSforum.com. Also, our home theater geek, twit.tv/HTG. Thank you, Scott. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this.
Yes,
Scotty.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mike Heiss in the chat room. Okay,
I like that. But that may be the best you can get affordably
for
at the
now.
moment.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, the JVC, the low end JVC at I think the current
DILA too. I like their DLI.
Correct.
They stopped doing DLIA direct view, but those are pretty good.
Well, rear projection, there are no rear projection TVs at all. But JVC's DILA projectors are excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Every single one of them.
So that would be a good place to go.
Definitely a good place to go.
Yeah.
No question about it.
All right.
If you don't mind, I'll
take it away, Blue-Jay.
Thank you so very much. By the way, I know it's probably impractical, but I would love to get you and Lisa down sometime for Tuba Christmas.
Oh, I'd love to go.
It's an amazing event.
Yeah, Michael would enjoy it too, I'm sure.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
Just fly down to Burbank on that Sunday and fly back Sunday night.
Sure.
It's an amazing thing with 150. We typically get 150 tubas playing Jingle Bells and Silent Night and First Noel and stuff like that. Plus, we have some professionals do a special little set of more sophisticated arrangements. The main big group, 150 tubas, the audience sings along. Santa shows up. I mean, even Heather would get in the holiday spirit. I bet if she went to Tuba Christmas.
Where is this going to be this year?
It's going to be at a venue called the Hall of Liberty.
Yes, as it should be. Yes.
On the grounds of Forest Lawn.
Freest from these tubas.
A totally free concert, by the way.
Yes.
Forest Lawn. If anybody lives in L.A., I would love to see him come. It's an absolutely free concert. TubaChristmasLA.com, which is a site I put together with Squarespace, by the way.
Oh, nice.
And,
our sponsor.
Exactly. And it comes and it has all the details there. Anybody in LA, I would love to see you. If you do come, I'm the guy up there waving the stick at the tubas. So
you're the conductor? The tuba conductor?
I am.
Wow, we got royalty here.
And the master of ceremonies, I do a whole shtick.
Is it a little bit like herding cats to conduct tubas?
It kind of is, yeah. That's a pretty good analogy, I'd say.
Now, you can't tune a tuba, can you?
Sure you can.
Oh,
sure,
okay.
absolutely. It's got a tuning slide.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 1,200-seat auditorium, too. Really nice.
Wow.
Beautiful acoustics, too.
Half of those seats will be filled with tuba players.
No, they're all on stage.
Tuba. If we Google Tuba Christmas LA, will we find it?
You will absolutely find it. TubaChristmasLA.com is my website for that one. Mike B, yes, Forest Lawn is a cemetery. That is correct. But they have this.
I wasn't going to say anything.
It is. Mike B in the chat room nailed it.
He knows, yeah.
But they've got this gorgeous concert hall and a bunch of places rent. They don't even have to rent it out. If you give a free concert that doesn't require ticket prices, they will give it to you for free.
You're kidding. Oh, that's nice. That's really
it's a community service,
so
and
this
it's beautiful.
Is a free concert?
Absolutely free. No ticket, no reservation.
Your wife singing.
She leads nice. the audience in singing along with the Christmas carols.
That's fun. Joanna's, of course, a great singer, so that's nice.
Oh,
as we know from New Year. Santa shows up, and Santa is not, as many think, Scott Wilkinson.
No, but he is a real beard Santa.
Yeah. And it looks like Mrs. Claus is somebody related to you, too.
Yeah, well, that's also Joanna, yeah. So there's a picture that we're looking at on the video of 150 tubas on stage. It's an amazing thing.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure.
You want to stick around for the top? Yeah, please.
Happy to.
All right. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. Scott wanted me to mention that if you're in the LA area, the Tuba Christmas LA is coming December 13th, a week from Sunday, at 7 p.m. at the Hall of Liberty in Forest Lawn. Yeah, the cemetery, the Hall of Liberty there. Beautiful big theater, and there's no charge. You can find out more at Tuba Christmas LA. So we were talking about phones. I just wanted to quickly get this in. Our last caller, first caller of the day, it sounded like he had a dial-up. I really wasn't able to tell, but it sounded like he had a dial-up internet access along with phone line from Verizon. You could keep the dial-up because it's probably very cheap, but I would absolutely keep the landline. A lot of people replace the landline with cell phones these days, and if you have internet access, you could replace it with a VoIP solution. But there's a lot of reasons why that's not a great solution in the case of emergency. If the power goes out, both of those are going out. Your internet access is going out. It's all going away. So counting on that in cases of natural disaster, not good. Your landline will probably continue to work. In most cases, it does if you have a landline from the phone company. It also is better for 911 because it's attached to your address, and 911 operators can find you immediately. So if you're in case of emergency, even if you can't speak, you can use that landline to get help. And I think that's very important. So for both those reasons, I would keep the landline. You could probably replace the dial-up internet, however, because that's going to be slower than anything you'd get, including an LTE device. So that's what you're looking for, is a computing device to replace this Dell laptop with LTE. iPad will do it. Apple charges an extra $129 on top of the price of the iPad to build that in. You'll contract, and it's month by month, which is nice, with one of the big carriers, and Apple lets you switch around. It's not carrier locked, so you can choose from AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint. Pick the one that's best for you. It doesn't have to be Verizon just because your landline's Verizon. It could be whoever gives you the best service there. And usually it's you pay as you go. It's about $20-$30 a month, but it's going to be much, much faster than your dial-up. An iPad's a great choice for people who just want to surf the net, get email, the basic stuff, play games, stay in touch with family and friends, take pictures, that kind of thing. It's great for that. I highly recommend it. A little pricey, but there are other good choices like Chromebooks, which I'm a big fan of Chromebooks. They start around $200. Variety of companies make them. I'm very fond of the Samsung Chromebooks, but there are a lot of different companies. And that gives you a full-size keyboard. It's kind of just like a laptop computer, but it's simpler and it's more secure because it's essentially just the Chrome browser and things you can do with the Chrome browser. But that includes managing photos, editing photos, browsing the internet, paying bills. A lot of the stuff that, for most people, almost all the stuff you do on a computer, including your email. Both of those would be better choices, and both of those can be purchased. Almost all tablets, including Microsoft Surface tablets, can be purchased with LTE internet connectivity. So that's a good way to go, just as long as you understand that you're going to have a monthly fee for that internet connectivity. Back to the phones. David's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, David. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. I just want to let you know that I'm in the spirit here myself, like you.
Oh, great.
Yeah, hey, I need your help with something. I hope you can help me out.
Okay.
I just bought myself a cyber deal from the Best Buy store.
Yes.
I bought a laptop, and it's got the Windows 10 home operating system.
Great.
And they tell me that I can do a upgrade from home to pro for $150.
No.
So I called somebody else, some other tech guy. Hey, he says, just go to. I asked how much his price was. Well, he says I don't charge because you can get it for free. He says, just go to your start, go to search, and then type in anytime upgrade. You'll find it.
Yeah, and then you pay for it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. He's right. It's built in. You don't need to, but you're still going to pay for the upgrade to Pro. I don't think you need Pro. You should look at the differences just to make sure. But Pro, I think you, like me, I said, well, I want the Pro version because I'm Pro. But really, the difference is, I wish they didn't call it Home because it isn't. That implies, it's just kind of this dowdy home user edition. There's not much difference. Right. And most businesses are probably using Home as well. There are a few extra features that in the Pro version. I don't think you need it. So I would look at it. Microsoft, if you search for compare Windows 10 editions, Microsoft has a chart with check marks that shows you all the differences between Home and Pro. And you have to go way down to find difference. In fact, I don't even see any differences between Home and Pro. They pretty much do all the same things. When it comes to business experiences, Pro has things like joining a domain, group policy management. These are all things an individual is not going to need. Hyper-V, remote desktop. You don't care about that.
So as far as for the level of security, it's pretty even.
It's identical.
Oh.
Identical. The difference is Pro is for enterprises, and so it's things like joining a corporate domain. It's stuff you don't care about. So stick with what you got. I don't think you need to upgrade. I use Home. I don't think you need to upgrade.
That's it. Thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, there's always that anytime upgrade. That's built in. So that Microsoft wants to make it as easy as possible for you to spend your money. You don't need to go to somebody. You don't need to install anything. You just go to the anytime upgrade. It'll download additional components and charge your credit card, and there you go. People are pointing out that there are some things Pro does differently that you might care about. If you're a tin hatter, if you're worried, if you're a tinfoil hat, if you're worried about Microsoft's privacy, Pro lets you turn off some of those features people deem to be bad for privacy. That's because businesses, if you're a bank, you don't want any information leaking out of that computer. I think a home user doesn't. I don't think you mind if the computer from time to time tells Microsoft about crashes and things like that. It doesn't. To me, I don't think that that's a privacy violation, and you have control over much of the other stuff. Pro also might have some features that allow you to do remote management. To me, it's all business stuff. If you don't know that you need Pro, you don't, I guess is what I would say. Sam in San Diego, what's a Geekatoo?
Geekatoo, that's a geek support.
Ah, all right. And how did you find out about him? Wasn't a pop-up on your computer, was it?
Well, yes, it was. But here's what happened. I spoke to you a few weeks ago concerning a download of photo albums from the Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's about 15,000 of them. I told you it's about from one of my kids back east. But anyway, I've been having trouble having someone do it for me, and I've been at my wit's end. I even went down to Best Buy.
Well, this does solve, and I've said this for a while, there needs to be something like this. I'm looking at their website. I don't know anything about them, but I have no reason to think that they're not okay. I'll have to check into them to give you a better, because I'm just hearing about it for the first time. If it's computer hand-holding, they come to your house and it looks like it is at your door. If we can't help you, don't pay. This is something we've needed for a long time, this kind of great computer support and hand-holding. Others have tried it before. I remember we had a great company, what was it, Geeks on Call, something like that. I think this is probably all right. Let me look into it and let you know. But the thing is, I think many of us need somebody who's just going to come over and look at it and show us. And the computer companies themselves do a terrible job of this. So let me look into it. But my sense is this looks like it's a pretty good thing. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, they even say drop the squad. So obviously they're in competition with the Geek Squad. I'm looking at the, they're a Better Business Bureau accredited. These look. I mean, this is something people really need, and I have no reason to think they're not good. Dave Redekop is in here. He has a company that does this too. He's in our chat room frequently. This looks good. And then we had a sponsor that did this. I don't know what happened to them. Anybody have any experience with Geekatoo? I love the name. Yeah, Geek Squad's okay. I mean, people have had not less than wonderful experience with them. Computer virus removal, set up a new printer. There's always needed to be something like this. You pay the price, but this is great. They come to your house. I like this idea. Our show today brought to you by Gazelle. If you've got an old phone and you're looking to upgrade, And, don't forget after you do the upgrade to sell your phone, maybe even before you do the upgrade, to Gazelle. Gazelle buys used hardware at top dollar, and they do some things that are going to make this life a little bit easier for you. For instance, you can go right now to Gazelle.com and get a quote, so you know exactly what you're going to get. Go ahead and shop around, get the best price, but Gazelle will tell you right up front. And that quote is guaranteed for 30 days. So you can do that now before you've sold the old device, before you bought the new device, before you've transferred your data over. Just find out ahead of time. It's no risk. Once you decide to sell it, they'll send you a box. The shipping is free. If you forget to wipe the data, they'll do that for you. If it's a broken device, iPod or iPhone, they'll buy those too. Of course, a little lower price. And then you get paid fast. You can get a check, a PayPal credit, or get an additional 5% when you use an Amazon gift card. It's a really great way to kind of take those old gadgets and, recycle them in effect. Sell them to Gazelle. People are very happy with Gazelle. I've sold many an item there. In some cases, they'll even send you a note and say, hey, this is worth more than we thought, and they'll actually bump that value. I've had that happen twice now. I'm kind of stunned. They also, and this is good to know, sell used gadgets. So you can go to Gazelle to both sell and to buy through their certified pre-owned program. What's great about these is they've completely checked them. A 30-point checkup that guarantees that device is going to be in great shape. They also give you 30 days so that you can, and you're going to save so much money. So if you lose your phone, or your kids break their phone, you want to replace it, go to Gazelle.com. To sell or to buy, the devices never extend your contract, but they work with all the major carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint. This is a great way to get a late model phone for a very good price. And because the new iPhones and iPads are here, that means this is a good time to buy a certified pre-owned device, because a lot of people are trading in their old device. For an iPhone 4S through 6 Plus, for iPads, the Standard, the Air, the Minis, and even the Samsung Galaxy phones. Buy certified, sell your old devices. Just remember that name, Gazelle, to buy or sell. It's got to be Gazelle. All right. Here's Scott Wilkinson, ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show. He's back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Man, I'm so glad to be back in California.
We need to do a pre-record with you
yes.
for the holidays. You want to do it at 2 today? Could you do that? If not, we could do it next week or some other time.
No, I could do it at 2 today. Sure.
Okay. Just, the usual.
Not any later than, not much later.
We'll do it right after the show. You're first on the runway.
Cool.
All right. Good.
Get my engine warmed up.
Yeah. Now you're in charge for the next 4 minutes or whatever.
Thank you very much. Hey, everybody in the chat room. Turns out Heather's going to be in L.A. for that weekend, but she's getting on the plane at that time. Dang. I really wanted to give her the holiday spirit. But no, sadly not. And there might be one in San Francisco. The cool thing about Tuba Christmas is they're played all over the country and all over the world. There are 7 or 8 of them. In California, and I will go look one up while I'm talking to you guys. Ward Cleaver asked about the trip to Boston. It was fun. It was really cold. It was rainy one day, and unfortunately that day was the day of the Boston Tuba Christmas, which I went to. I actually took my little alto tuba, which is a carry-on, believe it or not, the smallest tuba that appears at Tuba Christmas. And I took it with me and played in the Boston Tuba Christmas in Quincy Market. Normally it's outside, so I was bundled up. And it was raining. It was drizzly anyway. And so they said, okay, we'll bring it inside. And so we brought it inside. We were in the, anybody who knows Boston probably knows Quincy Market. And there's a rotunda with a dome and a sort of a platform up above in the second floor. And that's where all the tubas were. Some audience members as well, and then a bunch of more audience members down on the floor on the first level, and that was really fun. So we had a great time there, and We were back there for Thanksgiving and for my wife's mother's 90th birthday. And man, she's amazing. She walked. We took the subway from Lexington into downtown Boston with her at 90 years old. Walked many blocks, and she was right there all the time. Quite remarkable. Yes, Web 6300. It is almost Christmas already. C Sprat. I don't have a picture of me with my carry-on tuba. Truckee, I don't know if there's a Tuba Christmas in Tuba City, Arizona. That's a very good question. Web 8262, what is my thought on a Riva Bluetooth speaker? Well, I just had the Riva guys, Ricky Farr and Don North, on the podcast last Thursday, and I actually have a Riva speaker. I really like it a lot. I use it as a portable speaker. I didn't take it with me to Boston, but when we go on road trips, to Ojai or Santa Barbara or San Diego or something, I'll bring it with me and use it as the sound in the room, because it's really pretty remarkable for what it is, for what it does. I mean, yeah, it's not going to replace a full-blown speaker system, but as a little portable thing, it's very high quality, very high quality. So let me see if I can find where the other Tuba Christmases are in California. There might be one in San Francisco. And for that, you go to tubachristmas.com, the main website, and you click on Where is Tuba Christmas, and you click on California, and you hit display. The Anaheim one, anybody in Anaheim, on December 19th, there'll probably be 500 tubas at that one. Eureka, McKinleyville, Fresno, Huntington Beach, LA is mine. Monterey, there's one in Monterey, same day, December 13th, 1 p.m. Redding, Riverside, Sacramento, Santa Barbara, Ventura, Yuba City. None in San Francisco. That's kind of interesting. So if I go, let me just see if Arizona has one in Tuba City. That's a good question. Phoenix, Tombstone, Tucson. Those are the only three in Arizona. So anyway. Yes, exactly, Ward Cleaver. He pictures me with my tuba on the plane, like that scene in Airplane with the singing nuns and their guitars. I did not play my tuba on the plane. Baseline, any opinion on Best Buy's calibration service? Actually, they're probably pretty good. At least I do know that several years ago, the Best Buy calibrators were trained by the Imaging Science Foundation, or ISF, which is a very, very well-respected organization that trains calibrators. So if that's still true, and I must admit I haven't looked in a few years, but if that is still true, then the calibration service should be very good. There are traveling calibrators, people who calibrate TVs and go far distances to do it. There's the guy here in LA, Dave Abrams. He's been on my podcast before. He does a fabulous job. I'm pretty sure he travels pretty far to do calibrations. Sybil, any in Washington State? Any Tuba Christmases in Washington State? Let me just go find out. That's easy to find out. You just go down here, go to Washington. There's one in Bellingham, December 5th. That's today. 11 a.m., so it's over already. Kennewick, Tri-Cities, Seattle, December 19th, 7:30 p.m. Silverdale, Spokane, December 12th. And Tacoma, Greater Seattle on December 1st. It's already done. So there you go, Sybil. What you do if you want to find a Tuba Christmas near you, go to tubachristmas.com, click on Where is Tuba Christmas, select your state, hit display, and it'll show you all the Tuba Christmases in your state. If you want to know about my particular Tuba Christmas, one of 280 or so, go to tubachristmasla.com. Marsworm, do you know any good Blu-ray box sets other than World War II? It can be a miniseries or a set of movies. Ralph Potts, our Blu-ray reviewer on AVS, just reviewed the box set of the first 6 Star Wars movies, which he liked very much. It's kind of a limited edition special kind of deal. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. I'd have to think about that a little bit. Jim Jam, how many actual panel makers are there? And is Mexico still a key manufacturing spot? That's a good question. There are a number of panel manufacturers, but if you mean actually assembling the panels, not that many.
Scott,
And they
we're
aren't
out
in
of
Mexico.
time. Thank you, Scotty.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you. See
Bye-bye.
you too.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. Anything with a chip in it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk. 888-827-5536. Jim is in Fullerton, California. He's our next caller. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Leo.
Hello, Jim.
I got a problem. I have a school group that I'm in charge of, and we use Gmail, and I've been very happy with it because it does calendar functions and stuff like that. But now the group has gotten so big that when I send out an email, it comes back as spam.
Oh, yeah, you can, yeah. How many are you sending out?
Right now we're 370 plus.
Yeah. At some point, any email service is going to say, you know, you're sending so many that we're afraid you're spamming people, and nobody wants to be responsible for spam. That seems like a low number, but at that point, you're going to want to go to a service that specializes in this kind of mail, like MailChimp, Constant Contact. There are quite a few of them, and some of them offer free service up to a certain level. I think MailChimp, like the monkey, does a free version for. Let's see. I think it's pretty inexpensive for say 300 to 500 people. So up to 2,000 subscribers, 12,000 emails a month is free. So go to MailChimp.com. They also do a better job of some of the things I think it's really important when you're doing these kind of mailing lists. You want to make sure, for instance, that you have something called double opt-in. How many times have you been signed up for something you didn't want because it didn't have an opt-in? So this was a problem with Ashley Madison, you know, the site that people got in trouble for being a member of. You could sign somebody up for it, and they wouldn't send an email out saying, hey, somebody signed you up. Are you interested? They just say, good, you're a member. And so that's not what you want with any mailing list. But, of course, that's how you're doing it now because it's, you know, it's just informal school mailing list. But MailChimp will make sure that if somebody signs up, they'll get an email saying, hey, you've been signed up for the school mailing list. Are you okay with that? And they'll say, yes, I am, and that kind of thing. And you get lots of benefits from, you know, statistics, who's read it, and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have an opt-in system. So
good for you. I'm proud of you. That's great. You want to make sure people are not getting it in error, because that's another problem. You sign up but you make a mistake in the address, and now somebody else is going to get that email.
Yeah, and we only send out one, maybe two emails a month.
Yeah, this would be perfect for you.
Okay.
Yeah, if they do this, and you can design nice HTML emails. And if they do this as a way to get you into the fold, but it's a good system. I like MailChimp. MailChimp, like the monkey. It's got a little Curious George kind of logo, monkey with a blue hat. .com. Sean in Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Well, thank you for taking my call. I had a question help me with. My home is wired for a smart home, and I use Control4 to navigate through my audio, video, and my lights and stuff.
Did you set this up yourself, or did you...
Well, no, I got the Magnolia at Best Buy to go ahead and set it up for me.
Nice. Great.
But every time I want to go ahead and make a minor change, like change the daylight saving times on my light, or go ahead and I recently bought an Xbox One and I want to add it to the source, it seems like I need to call them to have them come back out, and they do, and it takes 5 minutes for them to go ahead and add it to the portfolio for it to show up on my master remote or master app, and then they charge me an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So is there like a program or a platform or a tutorial that I can use so I can do it myself?
Well, you know, you've got all the Control4 hardware, so you're kind of stuck with Control4. Unfortunately, that's Control4's business model. They set it up. You have to go to a local dealer who sets it up, and I think this is really unfortunate. The local dealer then does exactly what Magnolia is doing, which is, yeah, we'll help configure that, but it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I got to be fair. On the other hand, it's a lot of work and a pain in the butt to do your own home automation. So having Magnolia set it up is great. But you point out a kind of an interesting issue, which is all I want to do is add an Xbox.
Yeah, and I'm not using I'm not using all. In fact, I'm the only thing I think I'm using as far as the Control 4 hardware is the source, the source to add all my different, my Apple TVs and Blu-rays and stuff. But I mean, I have a Denon amplifier, and then I have a Sony Blu-ray, and then the lighting system that I use Lutron, which I guess
all of those can be controlled separately. But what Control 4 is doing is making a hub that will control all of those. And the hub is what you need access to. And unless you can convince the guy who comes out from Magnolia to show you how you get in there, you're going to be paying them. So I'll mention a sponsor called Smart Things, which also makes a hub. The reason you need a hub is because you don't want to use the Lutron app to control the lights, the QuickSet app to control the locks. You don't want to keep going to different apps for everything. You want one app, one hub that will then control everything. And it also makes sense because that way you can daisy chain stuff. You could say, when I leave the house, make sure the doors are locked, the garage is closed, the TV's turned off, and the fireplace is turned off, or whatever it is. And so having those all chained together is one of the things a hub can do as well. So there are companies that make hubs. Smart Things is, as I said, a sponsor, but it's the best one I know of. They're owned by Samsung now. But in order for this to work for you, you'd have to pull out the Control 4 hub and replace it with the Smart Things hub. In other words, you need to do this all yourself. Now, you're right. Everything that it's talking to, you could probably talk to, because the truth is, there's a few protocols. There's Zigbee, there's Z-Wave. There's a few different ways these things work. They're somewhat standardized. The chances are, what I would do is go to smartthings.com and look at what devices you can control with a Smart Things hub. If it will control everything you want to control, then you could rip out the Connect 4 or Control 4 and put in a Smart Things. You may not get, for instance, you have a nice tablet interface, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly use my the smart remote I have, or I use my iPad to go and control do the controlling.
So good. So that Smart Things has an iPad, iPhone, Android app. So you'd use that instead. You're not going to get, the problem is you're replacing some of this Control 4 stuff, some of which's pretty sweet, but that's the price. You got a premium product, and they did all the work. But in order to replace it, you need to replace the functionality of the hub.
It works pretty nice once it's programmed.
Yeah. So I'm worried that I'm going to say, you can do all this yourself, absolutely. But I'm worried that you're not going to have as turnkey, as elegant, as smooth a solution as you've already got. You paid the premium price for a really good solution. That's kind of the trade-off. Is you do it yourself. It's like building your own computer. It's fun. You have complete control. You don't have to pay anybody to come out and fix it. But at the same time, you have to do it all yourself. And that's kind of what.
It's just frustrating that you want to change your time on your lawn lights from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
You shouldn't have to make a call. That's kind of, I don't want to use the word scam, but that's let's put it this way. That's the business model.
It is, yeah.
It's another word for scam. That's the business model that they use. Is we'll set this all up for you, but it's going to cost you. You shouldn't to change the amount of time. That should be easy. I can't believe that they require a service call to do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and majority of the time they do it remotely.
Of course they do.
But still, I mean,
here's what I would do. Next time somebody comes out, pull them aside, say, "Hey, buddy, here's a 50. Show me how to do this. Is there any way I could do this myself? This is crazy. Bribe the guy." See if you can, because I'm sure there's a way you can interface to it with your computer. They're doing it. Give me the password. Hey, buddy, give me the password. Slip the guy a little Finn, a Sawbuck, a Franklin. See what you can do. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And there's probably online. Control 4, let's see, user interface. If you could figure out what to search for, somebody's hacked this. Maybe I should just say hack Control 4. Somebody's gotten into this, and that's what you want to find out. Control 4 hacks. There you go. It's control4hacks.wordpress.com. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you read online, there's ways to do this. Yeah. In fact, you're not alone. Thoughts on ditching Control 4. This is at Scott's site, AVS Forum. Let's see what the suggestions are. It's unlikely anyone else is going to be able to control the Control 4 gear. That's how they lock you into the brand. The Zigbee stuff will be using their own proprietary Zigbee stack. If you're using Zigbee, you can use smart things. So it won't be controllable for third-party systems unless somebody's hacked it or something. Yeah, here's a guy recommending charmed quark systems. He said, just use our stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the advantage, of course, is that it had it all. Anything proprietary, like if the lights are Control 4 lights, you're out of luck unless you can pay the guy to get you in. Anything that's standard, like Zigbee, you'll be able to do. If you are looking for a robust and simple to use solution, says XJ Baylor, you have it. The grass is definitely not greener on the other side of the fence. Yeah. You paid for Control 4. Oh, it's Linux. Oh, that's interesting. Control 4 box runs Linux. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. Yeah, and anything that's Control 4 only, not that's proprietary, you're going to have to use Control 4. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy 8888 ask. Leo, that's the phone number if you want to talk high tech. I was looking at this Control 4 system. It seems like there's so much proprietary in it that I probably would recommend just loving your Control 4, embracing your Control 4, not trying to abandon it. You spent some money, I think, putting it in. It is a little frustrating that all the changes have to go through the installer, but well, I'll quote. I'm looking at a forum. There are some hacks, so forth, but I'm looking like at a forum on the AVS forum talking about the Control 4. Somebody who wants to dump it, and let me see if I can find the best answer was, "Hey, it sounds like you got a good system. The grass always seems greener. It's not. If it's all working for you, stick with it." And I guess you just gotta have to bite the bullet on the cost of changes. Karen, Huntington Beach, Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Hi, Karen.
Good morning or good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. We kept you on long enough. Pretty soon it'll be good evening. Hi, Karen.
That would be just fun. I love listening to you, even though I don't understand half of what you guys are talking about.
You're very kind. That's great.
So anyway, I'm going to be traveling in February. Actually, I'm very excited to share with everybody that I'm going snorkeling with the humpback whale in the Dominican Republic.
I'm so jealous. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it does. Sounds really great. But I'm one of those people who likes to hold a book, likes to touch and turn the pages.
Yes.
But I understand with traveling these days that it's hard to carry all the books you want to with you.
Yeah.
So I am going to go even more tech and want your recommendation on what to get for reading.
You're going to bite the bullet and get an e-reader.
I am going to bite the bullet, but happily. You know,
I'm telling you, I bring a bookshelf with me, and it's no heavier with an e-reader than it is for one book.
Yes.
And there's the advantage. The disadvantage is I'm with you. I like a physical book. Actually, lately, because as my eyes get worse with age, I find I like listening, so I do a lot of audio books. And it's a similar idea. You can bring a lot of books on your smartphone and listen to them. But if you,
too, I love to be read to.
Yeah, I love to be. Who doesn't, right? Read to me, mommy. 50 Shades of Grey. That's a good choice, Mommy. Whoops. But I have a Kindle too, and I think the Kindle now. So, e-readers, dedicated e-readers, is a dying category. It's only about 19% of all users now have dedicated e-readers because we all have smartphones and tablets that can you can put a Kindle app on there, and all your books are on it. And it's very similar. However, I
don't have a tablet.
Well, you have a smartphone, or do you?
Yeah, but I don't use it for everything.
I wouldn't want to read on a smartphone. In fact, I wouldn't even want to read on a tablet, because the difference between an e-reader and a tablet, the tablet's shining light at you. An e-reader is reflected light, and so it's much more like reading a book. The text is crisper. It's the contrast isn't as good as I'd like it to be. I wish it were black text on white paper as with a real book. There's also some negatives on the e-reader. The page turn is a little slow. You can actually kind of see it redrawing the screen. Some people find that annoying. The good news is you can make the text size any size you want, which I love. I make it a little bit bigger than normal, and I can read better. You can do things like underlining passages. You can even see what others have underlined. You can, I'll be reading a book that says 373 people have commented on this particular passage. I love that. And that's true for fiction and nonfiction. Also, if you buy books on Amazon, many books have an audio book version. I think they call it Whisper Sync, that allows you to buy both the text on your Kindle and the audio book and go back and forth. So you can listen for a little bit and then pick up where you left off on the text. I read The Goldfinch that way, and I really enjoyed it because it's nice to listen, but sometimes, you want to see how names are spelled. You want to kind of see, you want to read it. So
if you're reading one of those Russian novels, you want to go back and remember which character is who.
Boy, that is a big problem in audiobooks. It's like, who's that? Raskolnikov? Who's he? What? He did what? Yeah, and you can't really easily skim back and find that part. So I do think that Amazon's Kindles are great. And you know what? They're not expensive. They start at about $80. Now, the top of the line Kindle is the Paperwhite. I didn't buy that. I have a Paperwhite, but when I wanted to get a new one, the new Paperwhite is $120. The Paperwhite has a 300 pixel per inch screen. That's very high resolution. It's 6 inches, very light, can hold thousands of books. It has a built-in light, which means that you don't have to. The old Kindles, you had to have, like a book, shine a light on it. But nowadays they have an internal, very subtle white light that makes it possible to read in bed without bothering your spouse. That's what I do. That's one of the reasons I like the Kindle. You can also get the regular Kindle, which is a little bit less. It's about $40 less. That's what I got. I got the regular 6-inch Kindle. It's also 300 pixels per inch. At this point, I'm not sure what the differences are between the Paperwhite, the new Paperwhite just came out, and the regular Kindle. But for $80, I think this is a really good choice. And at that price, you could almost say, well, let me experiment. Let me see how it is. See if I like it. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't use it all the time.
Yeah.
But I think for traveling, this is so much better than carrying 20 books with you.
Yep.
Highly recommend it.
Possible too when you're carrying fins and a snorkel and all that stuff. So,
you're going to swim with the humpbacks. That's awesome.
I think so too.
Bring a good camera.
You'll reach out and touch me.
Hold on, and I want to talk to you about your camera. Have you got a good camera?
No.
Hang on. Let me talk to you about the camera when we come back. Okay, we got to take a break. Leo Laporte, I got a good one for you. The Tech Guy. Our show today brought to you by Epson, makers of those great EcoTank. Gosh, I love them. EcoTank printers. I love them because Epson did the thing we all have wanted. They eliminated the running out of ink in the middle of a print job, the running to the store to get new cartridges. The Epson EcoTank printers come with 2 years of ink in the printer, in the box, ready to go. So you don't have to go out and get more ink. And when it's time to get more ink in 2 years, you can get it refills in inexpensive bottles or bags, depending on the printer. You'll be swimming in ink. Enough ink for 2 years, like this ET4550. It's a great printer, built on Epson's Precision Core technology, 40 million drops per second, so it's super fast. My Precision Core takes about, 2 or 3 seconds per page. It goes, very quiet, and boom, there it is. Plus, it's an all-in-one, so I get all the features of a great all-in-one wireless printer. I can print from my tablet, from my smartphone. Auto two-sided printing, 30-page auto document feeder that really works. Crisp, laser-quality black text, beautiful colors, speedy. I mean, I love this printer. And look, it now comes with 11,000 black pages or 8,500 color pages in the box. That's about 50 ink cartridge sets, except there are no cartridges. And when you want to replace it, ultra-low-cost replacement ink bottles. It's economical. It's convenient. It's a great printer. Great convenience. I want you to check them out at Epson, epson.com/ecotank. Epson.com/ecotank. Epson. Exceed your vision. Johnny Jet!
Hey!
He's in Paris. Je suis Johnny.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Comment ça va? How was ITLM? ILTM?
International Travel Luxury Market.
Yeah.
It was my first time going. It was in Cannes.
It looks pretty fancy. Fancy schmancy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all the top travel companies were there, all the luxury ones, and amazing. Made some good contacts, and including the place where I'm staying right now. So actually, I just scrapped the website I was going to mention, and I got something good for that, and I got a good app. You want to see my view?
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to stick my computer out the window.
Wow, are you in a mansion? Oh, this is a rental, right? This isn't a hotel.
Exactly.
Oh, look at this. You're living large, my friend. Oh, my God.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Is that insane or what?
So is this like Airbnb for France?
It's better than Airbnb. Which
you must tell me all about it.
I'll tell you about it.
No, when we get on the air, yeah.
So.
Wow. Do you get a sense of heightened security and stuff there, or is it all pretty normal?
There's a little bit, not as crazy as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
We went by the Eiffel Tower yesterday, and there was at least 6 soldiers with long arms, but you don't see. I mean, I see cops on bikes and stuff, but a little bit more than usual, but nothing crazy.
There's always been army people on the corners, not everywhere, but that's not unusual. I've seen that before.
Well, some of the hotels in Cannes actually they frisked you.
Wow.
To get in.
Oh wow.
Except my hotel, which I was surprised. I actually was like, I was staying at the Marriott, which is notorious for really good security because they've had, some unfortunate incidents, especially in Asia. So they're known for security, but I guess they must have had people undercover, obviously. A lot of times you don't see the security.
We'll talk about cameras for travel in just a little bit, but now it's time to talk about travel with Johnny Jet. He's in Paris. He's wearing his beret. Good to see you, Johnny. And you just showed me a beautiful view of the Eiffel Tower out your window. And I'm looking at your place, and it looks like a mansion. Where are you staying?
So I was at a conference in Cannes, and I was going to stay at a hotel. And then I ran into one of my PR friends, Jeffrey Weil, and he was like, I got a great new client. It's called ParisPerfect.com. And so it's an alternative to Airbnb. And I like Airbnb, but the problem with Airbnb is that you're not really, I've rented one before in London, and the guy is like, the key will be underneath the milk box. And I couldn't find it at first, so I panicked, and the guy was away, so there's no way I'd be able to get in touch with him. And also, it's not someone they rent apartments that are only for renting. No one lives here. So It's not like you're staying in someone's, they're going to visit grandma. You're staying in a luxurious apartment.
No kidding.
Prices
with a great view.
They all have incredible views. They're all in the best neighborhoods.
What's it called again? I got to make a note of this.
ParisPerfect.com.
Now,
so they have about 100 apartments, from studios to 3 bedrooms, and they go for 124 euros and up.
Well, that's a lot less than a hotel in Paris.
Well, and what's great is that they're huge. This is a 3-bedroom. So this one's 3-bedroom, which I was going to invite you over.
I'm coming. I'm on my way. Stay there. Don't move.
But it's Sleep 6, and this one goes for €464 a night. It starts at that.
Okay.
The only negative is that with these is that you need to stay at least 7 days or more.
Ah.
And also the cancellation period. But the cancellation too is a negative where, if you cancel 100 days or less, you're going to get charged 25%. But that's why I recommend getting travel insurance. Always have a good travel insurance because if there's something goes wrong, you can make that up. But it's not like a hotel where you can cancel a few days before.
This is gorgeous. I'm looking at the website, and this sounds great. So instead of booking a hotel, if you're going to spend a week in Paris, instead of booking a hotel, you're going to get an apartment, basically.
It's the first time I've rented an apartment in Paris, and I got to tell you, I don't know if I can do a hotel again.
Oh.
We've eaten every meal in the house. We have a kitchen's fully stocked. Everything in the neighborhood, you can find a cleaners right downstairs, the best bakery. I've eaten so many baguettes that I've definitely gained some weight. But although I've walked it off, yesterday I walked 17,000 steps, which is pretty good for me. And
I've been watching your pictures on Instagram. You're having a great time.
Well, it's Paris is one of the most amazing cities.
Yeah, it's my favorite city.
And it's a good time to be here. We're going to go to Italy this week. We had 3 days off, but we just felt like Paris needed some love, and we're glad we came. I mean, people have been amazing, and I actually ran into a friend at the conference who happened to be there because her colleague backed out the last minute because of the terrorist attacks. They were afraid. And, they were from San Bernardino. So it's like, it's a crazy world.
It's a crazy world. It's so sad.
But you just can't be scared. You just got to get out there. You got to travel. And everyone's living their life like normal here.
Yeah.
As what I've seen. And actually, I was walking down the street and someone asked me if I would do an interview. And I said, sure. And, they were speaking French. I go, I don't speak French very well. And they're like, well, we're from California. I said, I'm from California.
I speak Californian.
They recognize me from your show.
Oh,
they're big fans.
Oh, that's neat.
I thought that was my wife was
really
like,
neat.
man, that's cool.
That's great. All right, so I'm making a big note of this one. I want to do this. It's Paris.
So ParisPerfect.com. And again, it's luxurious apartments. The best thing about them is that they have office in the middle of Paris 7 days a week. And you can always get in contact. The guy's like, if you lock yourself out, no problem. Just give us a call. We'll be there, within a few minutes.
Wow.
That's what I love about it.
This looks fantastic.
And besides, you get to live like a local.
Yeah.
All right.
And you usually have an app for us. Yeah, what's your app?
Yes. So this one is called Can I Eat This? By the CDC.
Can I Eat This? Wow.
Yep, it's a free app. I met these guys. Actually, it's run by the government. I met them at a conference in Fort Lauderdale last month or a couple of months ago. And so one of the big worries for people when they're traveling is, can I eat this or drink it? So they come up with an app that has everything from, every country from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. And you download it, you choose a country, you select if you're going to drink or eat. So, I put in Singapore, I chose the food. It asked me what kind: meat, dairy, fruits or vegetables, eggs, bread, and then it asks you, is it raw or cooked? So it gives you all these different options, and so it gives you a good idea if it's going to be safe or not. It says if it was sitting out in a buffet, don't eat it. Then I put in like Afghanistan to drink, and then I said water, or I said milk or something. Actually, no, I said a soda. And they asked if it was bottled or not. And then they said, is there ice in it? If there's ice in it, don't drink it. So a lot of people don't realize when they're traveling, they think they're drinking bottled water, but then they have
ice. Tap water, yeah.
So the ice sometimes can get you.
All right.
But anyway, it's a handy little app for people who are traveling internationally and not quite sure of the food and the drink.
This is from the CDC, for the Center for Disease Control. And of course, it's for Americans. Because, of course, you can eat that if you are from that area. It's just that we have none of the immunities that you would have if you were doing that in that area. I personally, I drink the water because I want to get sick. And then that way, the next time I go, I'll be fine. Does that work?
Well, I'm the opposite. Although I'm drinking tap water right now.
Yeah, whoa, sacre bleu. Why aren't you drinking vin ordinaire? You have to drink the wine. It is safe and delicious. Johnny Jet.
I think wine's cheaper here than water.
I think it is. It's certainly safer. Johnny Jet is at johnnyjet.com. Great website if you want to sign up for his free newsletters that get you great deals on travel. Tons of articles. He makes a living doing this, which is the best thing in the world. I'm so jealous. And he joins us each week to talk about travel. johnnyjet.com. Follow on Twitter and Instagram, too, if you want to see pictures of Paris. How long are you going to be there?
Not much longer.
Oh.
Next week, I'll be with my dad somewhere.
Oh, nice. You're also a good son. He takes his dad all over the place. It's so nice. Well, have a wonderful time.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you have a great week.
Thank you, Johnny Jet.
And I was going to invite you and Lisa to come out here since we have 3 bedrooms.
We're going to Paris in the fall, but I'm thinking we were only going to go for a few days. Maybe we should extend it because you minimum 7 days, right? We could just spend a whole
7
week
days.
there. Yeah.
I guess you could pay for 7 days.
No.
Then I would look at Airbnb.
Right.
And see, because although I think the laws have changed now in Paris, so I think that might be the law that you have to have 7 days.
Yeah. Well, our travel agent, Jane, at the travel store, who we love, she got us a little hotel, the Christine, on the left bank. So we're going to be happy there.
Oh, by the way, I've received so many emails because I mentioned that I had a travel agent with crazy business class fares.
Who's your travel agent?
Yeah, and they're all like, I listened to you on Leo, who's the travel agent. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Do you answer those emails or you just throw them away?
Of course, I answer every email.
All right.
So,
Johnny, have fun. You and Natalie are in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I know it's November or December. It's probably a little chilly, but Christmas in Paris is pretty nice. I've been there a couple of times this time of year, and it's beautiful.
It's my first time to be here in December.
Yeah, most people want to go in the spring.
Sure, but it's a great time to come here.
Oh, it is wonderful. Yeah. All right, Johnny, thank you.
Take care. Have a great week.
We're going to continue in just a bit. We have, I hope we still have our caller on the line who's going to swim with the humpbacks, Karen in Huntington Beach. And I want to recommend a waterproof camera she can take with her. Gets great pictures, about $300. But that's going to be right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Are you still there, Karen? I've been keeping you on hold for so long. I hope. Oh, no, I think she's gone. But I'll tell you what. I was going to recommend a waterproof camera for her. And if you're still listening, I had this and I love it and I miss it because I lent it to my daughter when she was traveling. It's dust-proof. It's waterproof. You can literally take pictures of the humpback whales underwater. It's from Olympus. Now, they keep updating it, so this is not the one I had. I had the TG2, I think, but now it's up to TG4, 16 megapixels. Very happy with the images on this. And you don't need to get a special housing or anything. It's waterproof. It's also tough, so you can drop it. You can get it dusty. It's all sealed up. And I was very thrilled with both the stills and the video that you can take with this one, which is nice. It's the Olympus, Olympus. They make good cameras, and this is their compact point-and-shoot. The TG4, a waterproof camera, perfect for swimming with the humpbacks. Joe in Phoenix is next. Hi, Joe. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, Joe.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. What can I do for you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, why?
Well, I'm on a Bluetooth.
Oh, no, it sounds great.
So,
is this one of those blue parrots you're on?
No, it's a different type. I don't really like the blue parrot. It's a little too big and.
Yeah, it's like like headphones. But the noise reduction is excellent. You sound very good.
Good.
What kind is it? Just so we can keep that in mind.
I believe it's called a Roadmaster.
Roadmaster. Okay.
They sell them at Pilots in Flying J's truck stop.
Ah, all right. Roadmaster sounds great. Yeah, no, the quality is excellent.
Yeah, it's a little smaller too. The blue parrot is good, but it's really the top of the line ones. They got this big thing that kind of hangs off, kind of like an Uhura thing, from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And this one is a little smaller, a little more slim profile or whatever, and it works great.
Fantastic. Thanks for the recommendation.
I'd just like to thank you, Leo. I've been following you for years, ever since Tech TV days.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
And you have gotten, between you and your podcasters, have gotten me through more evening or nights when I have to get up at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
drive that I can't even, and just the rest of the help with my computers and everything is just
that's great.
Wonderful.
Glad we could keep you company, and thanks for bringing us along.
Oh yeah, and my girlfriend and I are definitely going to come see you.
Oh, please do.
Sometimes I really like.
We had a couple here from Boulder, Colorado, and they have Winton Churchill is in the studio. Not Winston, Winton. Where are you from, Winton?
I live in Mexico.
He lives in San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, but he's up visiting. Yeah, and Hualtuco, yeah. So we love having visitors in studio. It's one of the things I've always enjoyed doing is open it up. So please come by. I'd look forward to meeting you, Joe.
When I'm at home, we do the Chromecast thing and watch you live.
Nice. On a big screen.
Both days. Yes.
Oh, dear.
We love it.
I got a face for radio, and on a big screen, that's even more true. But okay, if you insist. Well, so what's your question?
Okay, so I am a techie truck driver. I'm an over-the-road guy. I have the original Moto X 2013 that I love, and not only, I mean, it does. I can't even begin to explain how much I live in that phone.
Yep.
Not only does it's how I get paid.
It's your computer.
Around it.
Yeah. I think that really is true nowadays. These smartphones are so complete that it really becomes your primary computing device, which is really amazing if you think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably don't know, but if we get caught with any kind of digital device in our hands, it's a $2,700 fine.
Whoa!
And $11,000 to the company.
Holy moly! So, of course, that's the law in a lot of states for regular drivers, but I guess because you're driving a truck, that's even a higher standard and a much higher fine. Wow.
And they take it pretty serious.
They should. You know what? Right on. They should. Yeah.
People do it. I
don't want to see a guy driving a big rig and he's texting his girlfriend while he's driving. I don't want to see that.
They still do it. They still do it.
Oh man!
iPads. I've seen it all. In fact, I'm from Arizona, and that big crash, south of Phoenix a few years ago. The guy that's what he was doing. He was watching a laptop.
That's
something.
shameful.
Kill people.
I understand it. It's got to be boring. I mean, I have a hard time. I'm driving, and I want to, I get a message, a notification. I want to pull out the phone and take a look at it. It's a hard thing to resist, but. For safety's sake, this has become a big problem. Something like 6,000 deaths a year due to distracted driving. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. So obviously the Moto X does. The
love that.
The lock. Yeah. You're really the reason I bought it because I listen to you and
it's great because it says while you're driving, you got a text or you got a call and you can. It's all done by voice. You never have to pull it out of your pocket. I think that's a great solution.
Yeah. So I'm torn between the new one, which is actually kind of big for what I really don't care for that, and the 5X.
Yes, that's the new one from Google, and the 5X battery life's not great, but I think for you that doesn't matter because you're going to keep it plugged in as you're riding anyway, right?
It's plugged in constantly. Yeah.
So that doesn't matter. 5X is excellent, great camera. Fast processor, very nice screen. It's small. It's 5.2 inches, kind of like your Moto X.
And I will be going to Canada with this. I just started with this company 2 weeks ago, actually, and I will be spending time in Canada. I use Straight Talk. I have for the last few years, and it's the only one that actually works over the AT&T network.
Right.
I had Verizon for years. Verizon, there's a whole bunch of this country where you can't get Verizon. It just doesn't work. The Straight Talk AT&T and I get 5 gigs a day. But anyway, the company pays for my phone now, so that's really
good. All right.
But I was, do you think they'll ever allow any other phones than the Google phones on Fi?
You're talking about Google's own cell phone network, which is called Fi.
Right.
And it uses both Sprint and T-Mobile, picking the one that's the strongest. I have a Fi. My main Android phone is a Nexus 6P, and it's on Fi. Fi's great because you pay $20 a month for unlimited text and calling, and then you pay $10 a gigabyte for whatever you use, and only for what you use. So it becomes a very affordable choice. But I think for you, the idea that it could use both Sprint and T-Mobile might be great because having two carriers, you're much more likely to get coverage wherever you go. I don't know how it would work in Canada.
It works in 120 other countries. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you get that T-Mobile deal where you get free data, slow but free, all over the world, and I presume Canada is one of those countries. So that's something T-Mobile does, but the Fi service takes advantage of that. So I think it is a good choice, but right now it's limited to Nexus phones only, and the 6, 5X, and 6P, and that's it. And I think it probably has to do with the hardware requirements of being able to use two different carriers, one GSM, one CDMA, and the handoff and all of that.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to roll it out wide until other manufacturers support it. What I don't know, Motorola would be a likely candidate for this. They used to be owned by Google. They still have very close ties to Google. If anybody makes one that's Fi compatible, besides Google, I think it would be Motorola. LG and Huawei currently make the Nexus phones, so they know at least the technology involved. Maybe they would do it as well. But no, right now, if you want Fi, you're going to have to go with the Nexus. Not that those are bad phones. You use Android now?
Yeah, I'm a all-in Google.
Well, I think the nice thing is they're pure Android, although the Moto is as well. I love the Moto X. And, there is a third-party application called Agent that does everything that the Moto Assist does. It knows when you're driving. It knows when you're at a meeting, and it responds appropriately. Right. And I really like that feature. That's called Agent. So you can add that. Yeah.
DriveSafe.ly, I think it's called, is another one that reads text out.
Nice. Yeah.
And, it's just, I am a Google guy.
Yeah, I think
my girlfriend's daughter's a genius for Apple in Glendale, California.
Oh, really?
And I brought her over from Apple. That's why she likes watching.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Still an Apple guy.
Oh, man. Well, I use both. So I have to. In fact, lately I've been using more of the Apple just because of better battery life. But again, that's something you don't care about because you're going to keep it plugged in. I'm going to check out this Drive Safely. That looks like a good idea. And that one is on BlackBerry and Android. And so I think a very smart idea. Hey, it's great to talk to you. I got to run top of the hour. Right now, Joe, the 5X or the 6P or the older Nexus 6 are your choices. You want a smaller phone, it's the 5X for you. And I could not recommend that more highly. It's a great phone. And I think Google Fi is a great service. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number. Don't forget our website is free, open to all, techguylabs.com. Everything I talk about is linked there, including our chat room. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Lori is in Long Beach, California. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Leo.
How are you?
Oh, getting over laryngitis, so I apologize for the voice.
Oh, I just thought you had a sexy husky.
Yeah,
voice.
That's my day job.
What can I do for you, Lori?
I have been having an ongoing problem with my Verizon DSL, where it goes out on me. It just started within the last month. They come out, I have to wait a couple days or more for them to come. They come, and not for very long, and they say they fixed it, and most of the time it's outside the house. They don't even come into the house. But then it goes out on me, and it's like 11 o'clock at night last night. It's out, and it was out most of the night. It's on this morning. So is there should I be looking at going to cable internet?
Yeah. Okay. So DSL uses copper phone lines. This is, in fact, the phone companies invented DSL, digital subscriber line. So long ago, they wanted to do something called video dial tone. They had this notion, it wasn't for internet access, that they could get in the TV business using digital phone lines. But they had a problem, which is that everybody had two copper wires going into their house. So DSL was invented as a way to put data over what is really kind of a constrained environment. And in fact, DSL has lots of limitations. Distance limitations, of course. Once you're a couple of miles from the office, the speed just drops precipitously. So you usually can't get DSL if you're out of town, if you're far enough from the office. It's just not going to work. But it also has the limitation that it's coming through, in some cases, very old wiring. So there's the Verizon wiring in your neighborhood. Do you have poles? Are you in an older neighborhood?
We do. They switched over to FiOS in most of the houses, and they tried to force me to do FiOS. But FiOS is so ridiculously expensive.
Right. FiOS, though, is comparable to cable, so that's something to keep in mind. DSL is usually less expensive. The other issue with DSL, of course, there's outside wiring, but there's also inside wiring. And it's coming through your inside wires. Now, it sounds like Verizon, most of the time, the phone company, when you set this up, says, we're not going to be responsible for the inside wiring unless you pay us extra. You know, those inside wiring plans they offer.
Yeah, this is my parents' house, my parents' plan, and I actually am paying it every month.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. So if it's an older home in an older neighborhood, you know, you're pushing the infrastructure pretty hard to get high-speed internet over it. And the problem is apparently that it's not very reliable. It does sound like it's not inside. They're able to fix it outside. So it's their problem, and they got to keep fixing it. But if it's not reliable, you know, you may wonder why it's not reliable. Maybe they're not so incented to fix it if they have FiOS in that neighborhood.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe they don't, you know, a lot of times when you get FiOS, Verizon and other companies offering fiber internet will cut the copper. They'll literally cut the wires because they don't want to be responsible for it ever again. They want to get out of that business. So that's something to be aware of, is that it's not it's not in their interest to keep you on copper. They want you on glass. That's what fiber is. And one of the reasons they want you on glass, well, they can make more money off of you in the long run. The reason it's more expensive also is because they have to install it, and that's expensive. So it's in your neighborhood, though, like your neighbors have it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would price the cheapest FiOS. That probably will be more reliable. Instead of using the copper wiring, they use fiber optics either to the curb or to your house, usually to the curb, and then they have some other way of getting it into your house. They'd probably replace all your copper with something, and that means that the issues you're having would go away. But you should see what the lowest price is. If the lowest price is, you know, $60, it may not be worth it. And then you should check with your cable company. The problem is cable is pretty close in both. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be similar. They already have cable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you should see what the bundle would be if you added, and get the cheapest one because they're not used to high speed. They probably don't need it.
Right.
But see what the cheapest one is, and you just should price it out. Cable and fiber would be better than the copper, especially in your neighborhood. Sounds like your neighborhood, the infrastructure is not very good.
Well, and I have been told we're further out.
And that's another problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd take a look. That's why they want you to go to FiOS. They they're supposed to ask you, if you do get FiOS, they're supposed to ask you before they cut the copper. The minute they come to install the FiOS, say, please do not cut my copper. And be very explicit about that, and maybe even get it in writing, because you want to keep those copper lines as an option.
Yes.
Once they cut it, there's no turning back. And that's kind of what they want to do. Sometimes they sneakily cut. They're supposed to ask you, but sometimes they sneakily cut it without asking you. So I can't, you're just going to have to price it out. Fiber and cable both would be better than what you've got. The reliability you're having is not normal. That shouldn't happen.
Well, yeah, and this just happened. This just started, as I said, within the last month.
It's hard not to be a little suspicious.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to be that they're making it break, but they're less incentivized to keep it working. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
We got three guys out there using copper. Let's just not. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. At least you understand what the parameters are and why it isn't so great.
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck. It's something I tell you what, even for your parents, for seniors, internet access is becoming more than a luxury. It is an incredible way to stay in touch, to learn the variety of things you can, courses you can take, videos you can learn. It's a great way to get entertained. Email is so important. I just feel like internet access is at this point as important as phone service, So it may be worth more than we give it credit for. And DSL really is, and it's not the fault of the DSL providers, it's just dependent on that old copper in there. They're not going to put new copper in. Juan in Los Angeles, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. You got me at I'm at the gym right now, so I'm a little bit winded. But I wanted to.
Good man. I like that.
I know. But listen, lately I've been looking at Tor, T-O-R,
yes,
the browser. And part of the reason for it is because, as someone that loves technology, someone that loves information, I kind of feel that I have to know about it, use it, and as much as possible, be able to master it for good use. But there's not a whole lot out there in terms of how to use some of the technical complexities that come with it, other than very obscure websites that probably are not good to use.
Tor is an interesting story. I mean, Tor is a great story. I've interviewed the guy who invented it. He invented it, by the way, for the Navy at the Naval Research Labs. The Navy was looking for ways to anonymize traffic. Tor stands for the Onion Router, and the reason they call it that is it's layers, like an onion, of servers. And the way it anonymizes you is really mostly through obscurity. So you enter the Tor network at a Tor input point. And when you use a Tor browser, it does this automatically. You don't have to use a Tor browser, by the way. You could put a Tor client on your computer, use your regular browser, but it's still going to go through that. And at that point, you're kind of known as you enter the Tor network, but then it routes you randomly through a variety of servers till you exit the Tor network. And the theory is that unless somebody can see it all globally, and that's very unlikely, they won't know who you are. They have to see your entrance point, your hops, and your exit point to connect you with where you're going. So Tor is used primarily for anonymity. It is a little tricky to set up. You're doing the easiest thing you could do, which is using a Tor browser. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So we're talking about Tor, the Onion Router. The easiest way to use it is just to download the Tor browser from torproject.org. And it's designed to kind of anonymize your internet access. There's some issues you should be aware of. The NSA, our National Security Agency, the U.S. spy agency, paid Carnegie Mellon University to crack Tor to provide a way to see inside of Tor, and it was broken for 6 months. Or was it the FBI? Who paid them? I can't remember. But the point being that Tor was not anonymous, and no one knew it wasn't anonymous until this came out. They were looking for two specific crooks, but it was FBI, that's who it was. But during this time, all Tor access was visible to the FBI. So that may not bother you. I mean, I'm not sure why you want to use Tor, but you should just be aware that Tor is not a perfect system. It also slows down a little bit because you're surfing through a number of sites. It isn't like a VPN. So Tor is designed to protect your privacy, but it doesn't protect your data. For that, you want to use a VPN, which encrypts your data locally. Eventually, it has to emerge onto the public internet. I think it's important to understand what you're trying to accomplish before you use a VPN or Tor, and understand the pros and the cons of it. Tor is a really interesting idea, but its model of privacy probably is imperfect, particularly for a nation state, for an actor working for a government. It's going to keep your traffic anonymous from casual everyday snoops. But I don't feel like it's a good way to stay anonymous from the government. Maybe that's not an issue for you. I wouldn't imagine it is for most people. Rob in Belgium. Hey, hi Rob. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Where are you in Belgium?
Hi, Leo. I'm in the north of Belgium in a city called Turnhout.
So nice to have you listening. That's the Flemish part of Belgium.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the Flemish part. My French is really not that good.
Well, what can I do for you? My French isn't very good either. So your English is excellent, though.
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for turning me into a better geek. I used to be one of those geeks who thought he knew everything better and hated people who asked stupid questions. But after listening to you, well, it makes more sense.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, I've spent my entire career trying to explain this stuff to normal people and not to be mean. So, good. I hope I'm a good role model for geeks.
Definitely. What I wanted to ask you is, I've got my own NAS that I built, but it's using a lot of power throughout the day. So I'm looking for a NAS device which is still a bit geek-friendly. So
yeah, NAS is a network-attached storage, and basically it's a computer with lots of storage but no keyboard, mouse, or monitor. You control it over the network with another computer, and most of the time, usually they run Linux or some similar operating system. What do you use your network attached to your NAS for?
I mostly use it to store movies, home cinema stuff, things I recorded.
So it's a media server for you?
Yeah, exactly.
There are a couple of reasons you might use a network-attached storage device. Media server is number one, probably. Backup, centralized backup is number two, because that big hard drive in the closet or somewhere can reach out to all the machines on the network and back it up. So a lot of businesses use NASs for that. There are other uses as well. I am a fan of Synology, Synology. They make excellent network-attached storage devices, a huge range of products from 2 drive to 10 drive and up. So you can decide, they have very high speed, gigabit Ethernet if you need it. I think they'd be great servers. But you're right. I mean, one of the issues is energy use. So I'm not sure, and I'd have to look into this, what the what the profile is for the Synologies.
It's probably better than my computer that I built right now, because it's using about 200 to 250 watts of power
all the time. Oi! Yeah, I'm sure it's better than that. I mean, most of these, look, they don't sleep usually because you're using them a lot, but it shouldn't be using 200 watts. Because you built it out of a real computer.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Most of these are embedded computers. We use Synology for surveillance. So surveillance sounds like a scary word. We use it for our security cameras. We're not surveilling anybody, but they do call it a surveillance station. They do have NASs for exactly media servers. It's too bad because Microsoft made a really great solution called the Windows Home Media Server, and HP and others made hardware for it, and then they just abruptly discontinued it. And I think it was a good solution for low power. So I would say I'd look at Synology. There are other companies. Netgear has a really excellent NAS that I use, but I think most of us agree. Most of my colleagues agree that Synology is the best one. I use the Netgear Ready NAS, but just because I have them lying around. Both of those would be good choices. Hey, enjoy. Nice to know you're listening in Belgium. That's wonderful. Great beer and great chocolate, right? Yeah. San Juan Capistrano. Brian is next on the line. Hi, Brian.
How are you today, Leo?
I am wonderful. What can I do for you?
Yes. What is it possible to get a shorter Gmail from a longer Gmail and attach the two of them together somehow? And just use a shorter Gmail?
Your Gmail address is too long.
Yes.
You don't want to type so many letters.
Right.
Yeah, you could very easily do this by setting up a new Gmail account and forwarding mail from the old account to the new one. Gmail's really good at gathering and forwarding mail from other addresses. A lot of people, myself included, do that exactly. I like to pass my mail through Gmail because it has really good anti-spam features, and then have it end up on another server, which I use because I like its IMAP implementation. So when you send me email, it bounces to a Gmail account, which then bounces to Fastmail, and then I gather it in Fastmail. So it's very easy to do exactly what you want.
How would I go about it?
Just create a new Gmail account with a short address that you like. Don't make it too short. You don't want to make, there's a guy named Jim who has jim@AOL.com. Unfortunately, Jim at AOL, he can't use his email address. He gets more spam than any human alive because, well, everybody tries jim@aol.com. So, you can make it short, but don't make it unique. If you want to maybe go Brian123, something like that. And then you go into the settings of your old account and you say, forward everything that comes here to the new account. That'll happen automatically, instantaneously. You won't even have to worry about the old account anymore. It'll just all forward to the new account. Gmail's really, really good at that. Hey, when we come back, I've got a great Gmail tip for you. Takes advantage of something Gmail does that very few other servers do, but it's very handy. Stay tuned. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is my Google Takeout page. Yeah, there's mail. So what you do is you go to the download page and you just check the ones that you want to get, which is, as far as I know, is every Google service. They really want it to be every service, including mail, even stuff like Orkut that's long gone. And then you can download it. Now, what I would do with it is do Gmail by itself. And then it's in the Mbox format, which means you can import it to any kind of standard. Thunderbird, for instance, reads Mbox. Actually, Thunderbird uses Mbox. So you want to, that's a standard format for email. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. One of the great features of Gmail that I use all the time is the plus sign. And actually, this is it's an official specification for email. Not all servers support it. Essentially, it says that anything after the @ sign in email has to conform with an internet domain name, in this case, @gmail.com. But anything before the @ sign is up to the server to handle. And one of the things that not only Gmail, but some other servers do, but Gmail does, is it ignores anything after a plus sign. Gmail does a couple of things that are a little unusual. It ignores periods. So you could say leo.laporte@gmail.com. That's the same as Leo Laporte with no dot in between it @gmail.com. But you can also say Leo Laporte plus, Yahoo @gmail.com. Anything after the plus is ignored by Gmail. It'll all go to the same place, but it will come in with that plus Yahoo, and you can use Gmail's filters to filter it. So this would be a very nice way if you want to keep track of, for instance, when you sign up for something, if they're selling your email address to others. I'm signing up for Bob's, funny business, and I want to make sure that Bob's funny business is not reselling my email address. I would give them my address, Leo Laporte plus, say, Bob @gmail.com. And I would be able to see the plus Bob, but it would be treated exactly as if there was no plus or Bob in the address. Now, some servers, some companies, maybe Bob's Funny Business would be one of them, don't accept email addresses with a plus sign in it. But most do. And so it's a very handy feature of Gmail that you can use to kind of keep track of who's got your address and how they're using it. You can also give it out, if you are asking for email on your website, you want to know if it came from your website, you could give out the address with a plus sign in it, and it would help you filter through stuff. It's a really nice feature, I think. Gmail is a great service, and as I mentioned, it's amazing in fighting spam because it's essentially collaborative. The way Gmail works, you probably noticed this. If you get spam in Gmail, you can press a button that says, yeah, this was spam. I didn't want this. Gmail keeps track of those responses, and of course, because so many people use Gmail, if it sees, a number of people, I don't know what that number is, let's say 100 people say this is spam, from then on, it makes sure it filters it out for everybody. So that kind of collaborating filter is probably the best way to do it, because humans are better at detecting spam than a machine ever will be. So if you can get users to mark spam and then use those signals to filter spam, you're going to do a fantastic job, which I must say, Google does. Taylor in Woodland Hills, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I've been first-time caller, but I've been listening for a while. Really love the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. My question is I have an Xbox One, and I think I got the one that had very low gigs on it. And I've been searching around for an external hard drive that you can buy, on Amazon or whatever it may be. Just trying to find a good one. I'm not looking for too terrible lot of space, and I'm also not trying to look too expensive. So
I did the same thing with my Xbox One because it's really easy. Any USB drive just plugs into the side of the Xbox. The Xbox churns a little bit and then now has expanded your storage. I put a 3 terabyte drive on there, and I'm never going to run out of room for games on my Xbox One. I think it's really good. I put a Seagate. Seagate makes external. What you're looking for probably is, well, it doesn't have to be. I have one that plugs into the wall, as well as into the Xbox One. You could get one that's called bus powered that wouldn't have an additional plug-in. That would certainly eliminate some wires if you're looking for it. I use a Seagate Backup Plus. For a terabyte, it's $59. And a terabyte's probably plenty for you. You want to get a USB 3 device if you can, because you'll get more speed, although it works just fine with USB 2. But nowadays, most drives are USB 3, and the Xbox supports that. But any external USB 3 drive will work great. And drives have gotten so cheap. $50 for a terabyte?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's unheard of.
And that's plenty of space. I don't think you're going to need more space than that.
All right, Leo. Well, I appreciate your help very much.
My pleasure. Yeah, and it works great. I love it. And I no longer buy games. I don't go down to GameStop and buy a disc anymore because the disc gets scratched. You got to find it. It gets lost. I mean, that's just been a really horrendous hassle. And the only reason they use the discs really is for copy protection. Nowadays, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, they'll all download the games. There's no disc necessary. They manage the copy protection internally. You don't have to worry about it. The only negative is there's no resale value. You can't resell something you downloaded. So for people who like to buy games, play them, and then sell them back to GameStop, okay, you might still want a disc. For me, I just love being able to download the game. And, I've been playing Fallout 4. The disc, you buy a disc, one DVD is only 4.7 gigabytes of data. So the game itself is 28 gigabytes. So you're still going to be downloading the bulk of the game, whether you buy a disc or not. The disc doesn't save you any downloading time. So I figure, big hard drive, download my games, I'll be happy. Somebody in the chat room saying they went to Newegg and they had a Cyber Monday sale. They got 4 terabytes for $40. What? Crazy. So shop around because especially this time of year, there's good deals out there. Jay is in Highland Ranch, our next call. Hi, Jay. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Colorado, I should say.
Hey, Leo. I have a question for you. I'm interested in cutting the ties with my television dish provider.
Who's not, right?
They have a good product, but a DVR where you can pause live TVs, that sort of thing. What are some options that I could use to replace that outside of, say, like TiVo, which has a monthly fee?
Right. You're going over the air. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, just catch digital over the air, which a lot of people I find are doing now.
Yeah, if you're I unfortunately don't live in an area where we can get good signals from the city, but if you live near enough to get good, that's the best HD you're going to get. Look at Channel Master. They have no monthly fee. It's a DVR designed for recording over-the-air broadcasts. Channelmaster.com. And they do a great job. And you can also buy a TiVo with a lifetime fee, but it's pretty hefty. It's a few $100. That's what I did. I love my TiVo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, TiVo is pretty outrageous. I like it because I like TiVo, but yeah. If you're just doing over the air, this is great. What you're paying TiVo for is the channel guide, and it's a ridiculous amount of money for the channel guide. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, and it's time to say hi to Dickie D. Dick D. Bartolo is Mad Magazine's maddest writer. He's also our Gizwiz. Joins us each week with crazy gadgets and gizmos and stuff like that. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing super fine. I'm so glad to hear you're on this health kick. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so great.
Yeah, it's health kick, because if I don't, I'll be.
Yeah. Well, having that shovel and a lot of dirt in the corner with a coffin
I got a
standing up,
hole.
that's very.
I got a hole there, 6 feet under. It's like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, what do you got for us today?
Well, I'm going to talk about a gadget I wanted to see and finally got to see it at a PepCom event. Do you know that now Keurig, who makes the coffee, the K-Cups and all the machines, they now have a new device called Keurig Cold, K-O-L-D, where you make soda instantly. Now, unlike Soda Stream, it uses little pods, but the pods actually also have the carbonation in them. There's a little chemical effect that takes place, and they have worked with Coca-Cola. So every conceivable drink that Coca-Cola makes, you can get in a little pod. You can also get.
So it's not fake soda, because like Soda Stream is not real soda, right? It's Coke-like soda.
Yes, exactly. So these are using, I assume, the real syrup, since
interesting.
Coca-Cola, I think, bought like 10% of Keurig to pioneer this. They also have mojitos and margaritas, minus the alcohol.
Well, alcohol not included, but you could add that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Also, all the drinks come out at 39 degrees. It's rather low.
It's got a refrigerator in it.
It has a. The guy said it's not actually a refrigerator. It's a metal plate that I don't get it.
Chill
comes
unit.
out at 39. Yes, exactly.
Well, that's
the
cold.
problem is, Leo, it's kind of big. It's 19 and a quarter inches deep.
Yeah.
It's a foot wide. It's 15 inches high. It's $300. And the problem is that whereas you can make a cup of coffee for about 40 cents, it is $1.25.
What?
To make 8 ounces of soda.
So it's more than buying it in the store.
Yeah. So there's a lot. Yeah, and I think the thing is, in the afternoon you're dying for a cup of coffee sometimes, and a K-Cup's great. They have, Mad has a K-Cup machine.
Yeah.
But if you're dying for a soda, you can just go to the refrigerator or the vending machine. And even in the vending machine, it's only $1 for a 12-ounce bottle. So this comes out to 4 pods is $5, and each pod makes an 8-ounce drink. So yeah, I know. So the magic is that it comes out cold, but I think they have to work on the price.
Yeah. Instant soda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like the idea. The mojito is better.
Yeah. And the K, by the way, in Keurig Cold is with the cold is with a K.
Within a K.
Keurig
Cold.
And they say it's the future of refreshment.
If you have a big kitchen and a lot of money, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. If convenience is more important, that's it.
Yeah. I could put this in my kitchen, but I'd have to take my refrigerator.
You use
out.
a Soda Stream, though, don't you? That's what
I
you
still
like.
do.
Yeah.
I still do, yeah. Mainly to make salsa and tonic water.
Dennis likes seltzer.
He likes tonic water.
I love tonic water.
Yeah, he like crazy. And so this way we don't bring refills back to the store, and we can make a liter for 50 cents. So it's cheap. In New York City, that's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. And with tonic water, no malaria, so that's good.
No, that's good. Well, we get malaria plus. We get those other.
If you want to see the details on the Keurig Cold, Dick's got it all at his website, gizwiz.biz, gizwiz.biz. You can also play the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. All you have to do is identify that thing. I don't know what. I'm looking at the picture of it. There's a close-up picture of a gadget. It looks like, I think that's like a do-it-yourself six-pack right there. Just
no
add
hints
beer.
For me.
Yeah.
No hints for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but if you have an idea, go on over there. What the Heck Is It contest is good through the end of November?
December, and you
end
get
of the month.
the February issue. That's Mr. Trump right there.
I love it. Alfred E. Newman and Donald E. Trump.
I know.
Together
I
at
tweeted.
last.
Did you ever think you'd see a Mad cover where Alfred E. Newman looked better than the other person?
Oh, but you know that Donald's going to call you and say, "Hey, can I get a copy of that? I want to buy that
exactly.
cover." Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, great
It's
to
going
talk
to be
to you.
huge.
Huge. Huge. All those other covers are stupid. My cover's the best. Dick DeBartolo, gizwiz.biz. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Got a little bit of time left before the end of the show. Let's see. I think Paul's been waiting the longest in Lake Forest. Hi, Paul. Leo Laporte.
Yeah. Hey, Leo.
Hey.
So I've got a Windows 7 computer that is not needed, and I was thinking of donating it.
Yes.
So I
great idea.
Get all the stuff off of it that we want to keep. I wanted to give it to them without.
So 2 steps.
Yeah.
By the way, and most of these places that specialize in donations, like the Christina Foundation, also will promise to wipe your data. But I think it's prudent to do it yourself. So there's 2 steps. One, of course, is backing it up and just get an external hard drive. And if it's a Windows 7 machine, if you just copy everything in the Documents and Settings folder, you're going to get every account, all the data in those accounts. Unless you've been storing stuff in a non-standard place, like maybe you have a separate drive just for movies, you'll know where your data is. Back all that up by dragging it over, do some spot checking. I don't like a backup program for this. I'd say copy it, because you want to make sure it's there. You want to be able to see it, not some big blob of a file. That way you know you got what you think you got. And then you want to wipe the drive, and there's a program that'll do this. It's free, called Derek's Boot and Nuke. And it's DBAN. If you Google DBAN, you'll find it. It's free. It'll wipe your drive with a Department of Defense quality wiping. It erases it, writes ones, erases it, wipes zeros. You don't need to do too many of those passes. But that'll make sure that the hard drive is completely clean, has none of your stuff on it. I would recommend doing that, even if the charity you're giving it to says they'll do it. It's just sensible to do that yourself. So back up and wipe with DBAN. Another way you could do it is to buy a cheap hard drive, a new one, put it in the old computer, and keep that old hard drive as a backup for your next system, which is not a bad idea either. That way you don't have to even worry about it. You got everything on there. Okay?
I was thinking of giving it to the school I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and school won't wipe it. They don't know any better. So, yeah, do wipe it before you do that. Absolutely.
And I wanted to give it to them was just... Windows fresh.
Right.
Out of the box.
That's possible depending on whether you have the restore discs or whether you can make the restore discs. And that's going to be specific to your setup. See if there is a way to create a restore disk, maybe just on a USB drive. Do the same process after DBAN, reinstall Windows. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows on the Netcast network. It's called TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You even get your daily dose of tech news with Tech News Today and Tech News Tonight. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.